Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the main event. This is the Corner Men podcast, where every man steps into the ring to fight for his faith, family, and future, and walks out stronger. We are working your corner and have the game plan, towel, and some sanctified smelling salts. We'll wrap your hands with scripture, ice your wounds with grace, and send you back out with a 1-2 combo of truth and practical steps, so you don't just survive the round, you win it. This is the Corner Men podcast. We are faith-fueled and battle-ready, so let's go!
Welcome to the podcast, everyone. So glad you're here, as always. So today we have a special guest. Today is Greg Todd, and that is all I'm going to give you to start off. But hey, welcome, man.
Welcome, brother.
Awesome to have you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I love your setup. It's really cool.
It's a work in progress, but I appreciate that. So we're getting there.
No, I want this. So this is really good. This is good. Awesome.
So tell us about yourself a little bit.
Yeah, I am a servant of God. And I try to fulfill my mission through entrepreneurship. I've been a Christ follower since the age of 18, recommitted my life to Christ when I was 21. And yeah, just been on the journey of just trying to serve people through my gifts. I've been a physical therapist for 24 years. I actually just let my license lapse. But technically I've been a physical therapist since December 26th of 2000. And over that time, I have evolved into now being an entrepreneur that helps people in the physical therapy world. And fast forward to today, I've helped 5,000 people start their business in the healthcare space. And I've done it through my journey. And it's so crazy because where we're doing this podcast is where my clinic used to be for 16 years.
Right.
And so I actually, before I came over here, I had to go to the clinic and just reminisce. And it was really nostalgic. But yeah, that's basically my story. I've been able to help people through entrepreneurship. And that's kind of what I do now as my mission. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So Greg and I actually met through some unique circumstances. I was doing some part-time work helping out another friend who owns a business, mostly because obviously I have to make ends meet. So, feel free to hit the donate button if you want to help me cut back on some of that. But I was able to help Greg with his podcast studio. And to be honest, I was just really taken with your openness. So the friendliness, the conversations that we had, your interest just in other people.
Yeah.
And then having the opportunity to meet your family, which is going to be part of my next question.
Yeah.
I was really taken by your family and a lot of how they very similarly demonstrate a lot of the same traits and virtues that you do. They were very welcoming and very friendly. So tell me about your family a little bit.
Yeah. So I've been married to my wife for 24 years. We met in college, my third year in college, her second. Our relationship started with a lie. So I'll say that. She was the RA, the resident assistant for a dorm where my cousin was living. He was a cute. He's a cute little lady. So I said, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm studying for pre-calculus." So I said, "Oh." She's like, "Yeah, I failed it last semester." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I got an A in it." By the way, that's the truth. I got an A. I was like, "I can help you with that if you want to be." That was my pickup lines back then, Todd. I wasn't too good at this stuff back then. And then she said, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah. I mean, I can help you if you need a tutor, so you don't fail it again, And she said, "Okay, cool." So she gave me her number. Well, she said, "Hey, by the way, my roommate, her name is Michelle. She's taking calculus." It's like, "Could you help her?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'd never taken calculus in my life. Anyway, that's how I got her number. And the rest is history. We ended up dating not that long after. And I told you around the same time when I was 21, we both recommitted our life to Christ at that time. So we've been together for 24 years. And we have 4 kids, boy, girl. And they're 22, 19. He's gonna be 20 next month. 16 and 12. So yeah, I'm really proud of what we've been able to create as a family. Obviously, we have our highs, we have our lows, but I just try to model Christ-like behavior in the way that I like do things in the marketplace. And I hope that for my kids that most things are caught and not necessarily taught. Just kind of watch what I do, and I don't really say too much. And I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing as a father, but say, like, you see how I do things, you see how I take care of people, how I treat people. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't care who they are, how high, it doesn't matter. People are people, and we're all, made in the image of God, and we just got to treat everybody accordingly. So
that phrase you used is something that, my audience has heard a lot about when I speak on fatherhood. So that's actually a phrase that we use a lot, talking about caught as opposed to taught.
Okay.
So studies have shown that, they're going to catch 90% of what they see, but they're only really going to grab about 10% of what they hear.
Right. It's interesting.
So you're doing, you're right in line with it.
Yeah. And I'll be vulnerable with you. I think, like, I'm seeing my 22-year-old, right? And she just graduated from UCF just over 8 months ago. And this is one of those taught things. She has seen her father for the last 10 years really be able to swim downstream. And what I mean by swim downstream is that I'm able to work within my passion now, right? When I was building the clinics, I loved physical therapy, but not like what I'm doing now. Like, I love to speak, to help people, and to just share my story. And I just feel like most of the time I feel like I'm playing. Like, this is just playing to me. We're just having a good time. I know it's gonna help, people, but this is just fun. I want to have this conversation with you anyways. So it's like, we're recording it. It's like, no problem. And so I say that because for her, she's having a really difficult time right now coming out of college and just feeling like, I need to just get a job like everybody else to get a job. Because I watched my father, and my father loves his work. And so I feel like she's caught that from me, but I also am having to teach her, like, hey, I had to work up to this. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things you got to kind of do. You got to kind of eat a little poop sometimes, so that you can actually appreciate when you get to work within your passion. And there's going to be times where you just got to make ends meet, and it's not necessarily the things that you got to do. So it's kind of a balance here, with the kids. I'm sure we'll get into, to that, but yeah,
I can hear what you're saying. And I think there's definitely some, we see some very varied, approaches in parenthood. So my wife and I, our approach, I worked for 30 years in an industry that I was very good at, and not to say that I didn't enjoy, the people that were there, et cetera, but I never enjoyed the work ever.
Right.
There wasn't a lot to that there was to enjoy, except for a lot of money. Right. I did enjoy that.
Right.
Too much, to be perfectly frank with you.
Yeah.
So we had made the decision, and I don't even know that we ever had a conversation and verbally had addressed it, but we had made the decision, and I know it's a variation of something most have heard and very trite, but we actually poured this into our kids to where they absorbed it, to find what you love and then do that.
Right.
Don't ever look at what the salary is on it, because if it's working, I don't know, with injured penguins in Antarctica, but it pays $15,000 a year. But every single day you wake up passionate and excited about it, you'll learn to live on $15,000 a year.
Right.
Because you're going to wake up every day ecstatic, as opposed to 30 years waking up going, oh, it's 4 a.m. I'm going to go have a meeting at the plant. I'm going to walk around. I mean,
it doesn't make sense. And that's what I think they're catching. I think they're catching that. They're like, and maybe also, we've put ourselves in a position to where they can do that. And so we'll see how it all plays out. You know what I mean? We'll see how it all plays out. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at.
Okay. Well, I'm going to start off with the tough questions. We're going to hit you with the hard ones first. So if you could have dinner with anyone from history, current or past, who would it be and why?
I'd probably say King Solomon.
Okay.
I mean, he's the wisest man to ever live.
This one doesn't surprise me. Actually,
Yeah.
it's an answer that I would have almost expected from you.
I think King Solomon. I mean, we know that kings and queens paid him. He was like the goat of the kings and of the queens. And they paid him a ransom in gold, silver, and cattle year over year over year. And so what did he know, right? And we know that he had a rise. I mean, he had a fall. And we know what he said after, right? So, yeah, I'd probably have dinner with him. I think
King Solomon.
I
That would
could,
be an
I could
interesting
pull
one.
some wisdom from that guy. Yeah, so that's who I would have dinner with.
Okay, that's a good one. That's our first.
Okay.
King Solomon that's the first time he's come up. That's
Okay,
a good one.
yeah.
So, can you walk me through this journey that you've taken as an entrepreneur? As far as like, how did you get started, and what did those early years look like?
Yeah. So I got started in entrepreneurship because my boss would not give me off one day a week. That's how it all started. It was actually over here off of Bruce B. Downs in 56. I worked at a place called Core Rehabilitation, right where that Publix is, and the UPS store is right next to UPS. I just saw it, so it's all like coming back to me right now. But that's where it started. I had no desire to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to work for someone for the rest of my life. My dad has always dabbled in entrepreneurship, Herbalife, Amway, all the multi-level marketing stuff, this, that, da. He's still with a company called Primerica, today. It's a financial services, company. Never wanted to do that. I wanted to be as far away from that as possible. I saw the highs and lows, and I always equated my parents' issues in their marriage to entrepreneurship, to not having stability. So I'm the most entrepreneur you're going to meet in your life. But, I'm here 4 years into working for people, and my marriage is in shambles. And I was working day and night to make ends meet, working 2-3 jobs. And I saw that it was putting a huge strain on my marriage at the time. And I asked my boss, look, you guys are paying me salary for 40 hours a week. I'm working about 65, 70 with you guys. By the way, I don't have any problem with that. Okay. But what I do need right now is I need to focus a bit more at the home. My wife is pregnant with our second child. She's not feeling that I'm there because I'm working really, really long hours. Can you give me off one day a week? They said no. And I turned in my notice. I didn't know what I was going to do. I just knew that I had to do something different. And so that's what started it. That's what got me into entrepreneurship. It wasn't to make more money. It was to get more time. And so I think one of the things I have been doing that many don't do is I've been playing the time game, trying to figure out how do I get more time. And at that time, I couldn't see it any other way but through entrepreneurship. So left that job, took out a $180,000 line of credit on my house to go start 3 endeavors because I didn't trust myself with the one business. I did a property in Valrico, Florida. I ended up having a short sale on that property 3 years later. I did Forex currency trading that my uncle had recommended to me. It ended up being a Ponzi scheme. I lost $20,000 there. And then the rest of the money I put into a company called Renewal Rehab. And to date, we've made about $40 million from that. And so basically, I hit 1 for 3.
Okay.
But I hit 1 home run, and so that's what happened. That's how I got into it. And I only did it because I wanted time. So, Renewal Rehab ended up turning into 3 clinics. We've now downsized down to 1. I still have 50% partnership in that. And I have 4 other businesses today. I do Airbnb rentals. I have a consulting business. I have a software business, and I have a virtual staffing agency. So those are all of my things that I do. I've been doing it for the last 20 plus years in business realm. Many things have failed. I've learned a lot of lessons from it. The ones that have succeeded, I've learned a lot of lessons from those as well. And that's how I got started, just wanting to play the time game.
So as you were building that, I mean, you talked about a couple of the failures and mentioned, some things there too, but what would you say was the hardest challenge of starting out and building the businesses? And as you look at those challenges now, how did you overcome those?
I think one of the big things is the way that I viewed money. I think that was really hard. I believe I had a middle class mentality, or maybe even a poverty mentality. And I believe that I needed to change my mindset to get to where I am today. So I'll kind of give you a few things. I think people that have a poverty mentality, they view money differently than how wealthy people view money. And the poverty mentality is that money is there just to pay my bills. And that's it. And so I had that first. So it's like, okay, whatever money I have, it is not for me to go make more money. It is for me to just pay bills. So even when I had extra money left over, it's like, go buy something, because the money is supposed to all be gone, right? So that's the first thing. And I just struggled with that initially, that I just needed to get by. And I don't believe that we're just there to get by. But that's what I believed back then. And that made it a struggle for me. And then I think number two was that I eventually morphed from a poverty mentality to a middle class mentality, which is the purpose of money is to have good credit. And I'm not saying good credit is a bad thing, right? Mm-hmm. And it's to be debt free and to have good credit. And when I short sailed on that property, my credit in 2009 got ruined. And very soon after that, it was a year and a half after that, I became a millionaire. Or I should say, I didn't become a millionaire. I had $1 million business. And it's because everything that I thought that I needed to work towards, which is to have really good credit, have great credit so I can borrow money from people so that I can buy things that I don't need, right? And that was kind of my mentality then. And that got totally just destroyed when I could no longer afford that investment property. And I realized after that, yeah, I did have creditors calling. Yes, I did have, and it was embarrassing and this and that, and they're calling my business and all this other stuff. But I realized that my life didn't end. Like, I realized that I didn't need a car. I didn't need this. I didn't need those things. And it gave me a freedom. It gave me a freedom seeing that was a thing that was this big, ugly, hairy monster that I was so afraid of, that if that ever happened, my life would be over, and it wasn't over. And I just got really ballsy after that. I really did. After that, I'm just like, okay, well, that wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And then I believe over time, I've changed to a wealth mentality, which is money just makes you more of who you already are. And if you have more money, it's going to make you more of who you already are. And I knew that I was always a giver. So if I had more money, I just had more resources to give. So I started to actually want to acquire more money so that I can show God that I can be even a bigger steward than what he had already given me stewardship over. And when I embraced that, then I understood, well, what do wealthy people do? Well, wealthy people look at money and make sure that money is always flowing. Mm-hmm. So I need to use money to make more money, but we're getting the more money so that we can make the money flow and to help people and to steward over that. And so anyways, I do think that mindset has served me to where I'm at today. I also thought too that, the way that I used to make money was like through trading all of my time for money, right? So I would treat a patient, and then the patient would pay me, or their insurance would pay me. Mm-hmm. And then you treat another one, and you treat another one. So the idea of making more money was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to kill myself, right? But today I understand that I need to productize myself, meaning that yes, Greg Todd has gifts and skills, but I also need to find a way to take those gifts and skills and turn it into a product so that it's not individualized. And now making lots of money is actually quite easy for me versus what it used to be when I was working at the Chinese restaurant dishwashing at $2.50 an hour. By the way, it's like money is just one resource. Okay, it's just one resource. Like you're a father, right? You're stewarding over your kids, right? Even, you know, right? We're married. We're stewarding over that. Like, so money, it's not the end all be all, but it is one resource. Like our time right now, we're doing this, right? And we're stewarding over this. This took a lot of setup. You know, this is a lot that needed to go into setting up this room, me driving over here, you getting the place ready, having coffee ready for me, all that stuff. This is all stewardship. And so, yeah, I truly do believe money makes you more of who you already are. And I believe that there's a lot of amazing, gifted, giving people that I wish were rich. I really wish they were rich. I really wish they were, because these are people that would bless many others. And I believe that that there are many Christ followers that have amazing hearts that are just unable to do it because they don't have the resources. And that saddens me. It really does, because I know that it's just understanding that there's certain skills that, at least in today's world, certain skills that if you have those skills, you will be able to make money at lightning speed and in abundance. And I believe that if there's many people that are like me, that if they had access to that, they would be able to bless lots of people. And yes, there are jerks out there too. And there's people out there that just flex with it and use it for whatever things. And they'll have to meet with their maker and deal with their stuff at their given time. But yeah, that's what I feel. And that's, as somebody that was broke, and somebody now that, I'm not saying I'm no Jeff Bezos, but I do okay. I feel like with what we've been able to acquire, I understand that it's not mine anyways. It's my kingdom principles. It's understand that God has given me all the opportunities. He's given me all the things. And right now I'm just stewarding over it. So,
I am all about excellence and moving and entrepreneurship. In the same token, when the stance is right, that you were just talking about, the coupling of those together is what I very strongly believe is what creates the happiness.
Right.
Because it's not being the Jeff Bezos,
right,
but it's having the heart that attaches to, I'm satisfied, as Paul said,
Right.
I'm satisfied in all situations.
Right.
It's Christ that makes me full. And if you're out there struggling right now, I'm telling you, I get it. It sounds crazy. I'm not paying the bill. I'm figuring out how to pay for the apartment this month. The fridge is almost empty. How can I be satisfied in this? It's not the same satisfaction you're talking about. It may not be comfortable, but being satisfied in Christ may not be comfortable, but it is pure satisfaction of knowing.
Right.
And I'll be honest, I am at that different trajectory in my career. You and I have talked about this in our conversations. I am probably at the lowest point of my life as far as, financial means.
Right.
I could not be happier than any point I've been in my life, though.
Right.
So,
I think it comes down to a couple things. It's I actually had one of my patients. This is when I was my first year of being a physical therapist. I was in Pembroke Pines, Florida, okay, which is between Miami and Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
And she came to the clinic that I was working at back then. So I was 23 years old, okay? And let's fast forward now 10 years later. 10 years later, I'm living here.
Okay.
And she found me. She found me up here, right? And she found me at Cora, which was where I worked 4 years after I left South Florida.
Okay.
And then when I opened up my clinic over here in Seven Oaks, she found me there as well. And she said, Greg, I got to say this. I've known you since you were 23 years old. At least for the time that I've known you. You didn't have all these clinics and whatnot at 23. You were happy then. And I saw when you were at Cora, and I know you talk about like all the drama that was going on. Every single time I came in, you were such a happy guy. And now you're still really happy. So the reality is this. The reality is that I believe it's in our best interest to all be blissfully dissatisfied. Blissfully dissatisfied.
That's good.
Yeah, so blissfully dissatisfied is that I understand in the present moment, like I am self-aware enough to know that right now I'm looking at you and I'm not in control of my, like the Lord has given me the ability for me to look at Todd Woodfield. Okay? I am breathing. My whole body, as I'm talking to you, is taking in oxygen, is breathing out carbon dioxide. And I am just running. I'm running while I'm talking. I don't even have to worry about it. Bro, I am so self-aware that this is such a blessing. This is such a blessing. And I am just so grateful. I'm so grateful that I'm here. I'm grateful that I'm with you. I'm grateful that we're able to do this. I'm grateful that I've seen this room and that you're going to potentially set something up like this for me at one of my houses. Like, I'm just so grateful for the moment. But at the same time, there is a dissatisfaction of knowing that I know God has made me for more. I know he's made me for more. But that doesn't mean that I need to be like, oh my gosh, I got to see what Tom over there at the street, he's making 1.9. Like, no, I don't need to do that. I am so grateful and blessed if I'm making $2 an hour or I'm making $200 every 30 minutes. It's all good, bro. I'm good either way. But I also know this. I know that right now, if I said to you, you got 3 kids, right?
4.
You have 4 kids. Okay. So if I said to you, hey, health-wise, what do you want for your children? Do you want them to be what? As healthy as possible?
As healthy as possible.
As healthy as possible? Or just okay?
No, as healthy as possible.
As healthy as possible. Okay. All right. For your marriage, right? You guys have been married 30 years.
30
right?
years.
30 years. Okay. Do you want your marriage to just barely get by? Or do you want the years that you all have left together to be as fruitful as possible?
I want to thrive.
You want to thrive. Okay. So we say that about our health. We say that about our marriage. Why is it not okay for us to say that about money? Why should we barely get by? We don't say that for anything else. We don't say that for anything else. So in that way, I am dissatisfied. I just want to be as great of a steward as I possibly can be. And money is one of those tools for me to do that.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, I don't want to covet it. And I don't want to envy other people that have something that I don't have. I just want to be blissful in the present and be self-aware to know that everything up until this point has been orchestrated and given to me by God.
That's a truth bomb right
Okay.
there. That's a truth bomb. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So that's a good one.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So one last tough one before we move on.
Mm-hmm.
What is the worst business idea that you have ever come up with that completely bombed?
Oh gosh. Well, I'll tell you this. There's ideas that never got off the ground. Those are the ones that bombed. The ones that I never actually tried. Pro Physical Therapy and Performance. Pro Physical Therapy and Performance was a business that I started through Sunbiz, but that business never got off the ground. I didn't even try, and it ended up being a good thing, right? I went with my business partner into Renewal Rehab, who he acquired me, and I got 40% of the company. So he ended up going from 100 to 40. He got 40, I got 40, and then we had a minority partner at 20%. There was a business called TheraFit. TheraFit was something that we were doing inside of our clinics. It was therapeutic exercises using fitness. And so it was like combining physical therapy and fitness together. And we did okay. We did good. But we never really took off with it. And this is a story, and it's now you're traumatizing me. I'm reminded of this. So with TheraFit, we said, you know what? We could create this thing called Circuit. We can turn it into a national chain. And Circuit was supposed to be CIRKIT. Okay, so it was supposed to be Circuit Fitness. This is back in 2007. All right, so hear this out. So we said we can do these 45-second, 15-second rest circuit interval training. And we had this idea of having facilities like my clinics where you would have videos on the wall showing the exercises. And you can do 30 seconds on, 30 seconds. We just have different variations. And we were doing this in our clinic for 2.5 years. up until this point. This is not like 2007, 2008 time. And we started doing these classes on Wednesday nights and doing them on Saturday mornings. And people started flocking to the classes. But then we wanted to turn it into a national chain. But you know what? We never executed it out. I say that to you because yesterday, you know where I was at? I was at this place called F45.
Yeah.
F45 is that idea. It's that idea, but they executed it out. And now I'm a member and I don't own it.
No, you're paying them.
I'm paying them. I'm a member for them. I'm one of their paying customers. But every single time I go in there, I think of that's a business that I totally botched. I just didn't execute it out. And yeah, so maybe that's
okay.
Probably
that's
it,
a good one.
Know? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Man, the missed opportunities.
But missed opportunities, but I think, that's a reminder to me every single day that God gives us, God has created us in his image. So he's created us to create stuff. He's made us so we can make stuff. And he gives all of us the ideas. Unfortunately, many of us have quenched it, or we've suppressed the one thing that makes us different than the zebras and the giraffes is in our ability to create amazing things. I mean, look at this. I'm still fascinated by this room. I mean, look at this room. It's just he created you to have this idea and to bring it to life, and a lot of us never use it. We never use it, and that's the sad thing, So the businesses that never get off the ground, the businesses that I think of only in my head but never move forward, the ones that I lack the execution on, those are the bad ideas. The ones that I've made money or lost tons of money, that's not a bad idea. That is what gives me the wisdom that I have so little of. But King Solomon, who I'm going to have dinner with, had so much of,
There you go.
Like, I only get that from the experiences, That's why me and you could talk all day, bro. It's because we have so much experience. We have so many wins, so many L's. We have so many lessons that we can share with each other and share with other people.
Fair enough. I think you're more like the Ichiro.
Yeah.
I'm more like the strikeout king, but that's okay. So, all right. Man, I'm having so much fun with the conversation with you. So let me ask you this. Have you ever had the situation where you had to make the conscious decision between profit and principle?
Oh, like every week. Every week. I want God to be at the center of my business. This is how I keep my anxiety down. This is how I want him anchored to it. And the only way I can have him anchored to it is to do my best to make my businesses abide by biblical principles. That's it. Like, that's my manual. If I'm in a situation to where it's a great opportunity, but something is not aligning with the manual, then I just don't take it. I don't take it. It really is simple. I just don't take it. I don't take the opportunity. I pass on it, and then that's it. So yeah, there's a lot of opportunities that have come up that just didn't feel right. But sometimes our intuition can be a tricky thing, right? Sometimes, you can. I believe a lot of times the intuition can be the Holy Spirit, right? And it can nudge on me, but I know for me, I need data, I need facts. So my manual is the Bible. It's like, all right, where does this line up? If this lines up, does this make sense? The person, the character, the integrity, this, that, da, da, da. That's it. And if it doesn't, then I don't take it. So I don't know how much money it could have turned into. We'll never know. But at the end of the day, I just want God to direct my path. And I know, like, it's just hard because I don't know what is going to turn into what. I mean, for all we know, 3 years down the road, me and you could be business partners. Who knows? Like, who knows?
I got to wait 3 years.
No, I'm just saying, he could happen in 3 days. I don't know.
Start the countdown.
So like, I mean, you just don't know. So I just want to try to use the manual to direct my steps. And that's what I've tried to do. I've turned on a lot of things that just don't fit into my code, my value system. I have commandments that I live by, my own personal commandments, and then I have the biblical instruction. I try to go by that. If it doesn't line up to it, I don't take it. That's it.
So you used intuition, which I think also could be easily considered as discernment.
Right. Discernment,
Which kind of leads me into the question of, do you think that God calls some men specifically into business to advance the kingdom? And if so, how do you think they can discern that they have that calling?
Yeah, I personally do. I think some of us are called to do this. I think some of us aren't. And how does he call you? I think that I believe that God gives all of us the ability to dream and to create. And there are some of us that have a nudging and a just something pulling on us, that there's a problem that we see and we know we are the people to come up with the structure and the strategy to solve that problem. And if he's put that on you, I believe you are made to be an entrepreneur. There's some people he has not put that on. There's some people that they don't feel the need to solve someone else's problem and to take on the burden of someone's problem like they have the problem, even though I don't have the problem, right? Like today, I don't have the problem currently today, right? This could change next month. Mm-hmm. Next month, I could lose all the earthly things that I have. So I could, and I've had this problem before. I just don't have it right now, of the problem of like, I can't pay my light bill, okay? But I take on that problem for my clients who can't pay their light bill. I take on that problem like I can't pay mine. Some people don't feel that, but I do. As an entrepreneur, you need to be able to feel someone's problem, even though it's not your problem. Okay. And so some people have it, and I believe God gives that to some of us, and some of us he doesn't give that to. Right. And so there's some people that have, I just believe that we all have physical gifts. I believe we all have spiritual gifts, and we need to use them accordingly, right? Some people are thinkers, some people are speakers, some people are feelers, some people are doers, right? Which one did he give you? Okay, some people have the gifts of, they have different spiritual gifts. They have the gifts of discernment. They can speak in tongues. They can do this. They can do that. I don't know the gifts of benevolence. I don't know what he's giving you. But, I have people that work for me that have the gifts of benevolence, right? And they are feelers. I'm not a feeler. I'm a speaker. I'm a doer. That's the gift I've been given. But I also have been given this overwhelming feeling that I need to solve a problem for people that I currently don't have. So I don't know what he's given you, but whatever he's given you, you use it. And for those that he's giving you that, you're destined to be an entrepreneur. For the rest of us that have been given that, you're not. You're there to help people that are entrepreneurs. So I think collectively, if we all just use our gifts, I believe the world will be a better place, at least on this side of heaven.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've experienced tremendous success. We've talked about, obviously you've had hurdles, you've had fallbacks, things like that, but ultimately you have experienced success in more than just money, but in so many ways with your businesses. One of the biggest pitfalls is my question: how do you fight against it? So self-reliance and pride, as you see more and more success, whether culturally, societally, whatever, as you watch your bank account increase, as you watch your influence grow, we see this struggle. Let's be honest, we see the struggle even within the church, with pastors.
Right.
There's great church growth, it becomes a mega church, whatever. And self-reliance and specifically pride are so easy to creep in. It's something we have to really be cautious of. How do you handle that?
That is real. I think I have cycled multiple times in business to not let that be as big of an issue. So what I mean by cycle is when you've hit your peak and then you've totally lost it all. And so I just feel like I've been around the block enough to know that most of this is not my doing. The majority of it's not my doing. And so I just self-aware enough to know that I could lose it all. I mean, here, look, I'll tell you this. I have, yes, I'm not I'm not downplaying that I have had success. I'm also self-aware enough to know that a couple circumstances here and there, and I could be broke in 1 month. Okay, like I'm playing at that level to where like seriously, I could I have a house in Indian Rocks Beach. Okay, that house is worth $3 million. Okay, I understand that last year a hurricane in one evening in 45 minutes came up and flooded 5.5 feet into our home and destroyed 60% of our neighborhood. I'm self-aware enough to know that that could be gone in an instant. Okay, I'm self-aware enough to know that I could get someone in one of my businesses that could send me a letter and they could be suing me for everything. And just in attorney fees in a month and a half, I could basically have all my accounts depleted. I am self-aware enough to know that someone, Medicare, could say in 2017, there was some documentation that you guys did that was considered fraud. And we are now going to freeze every single one of your accounts in every single business. I'm self-aware enough to know that that could happen. So I know that wherever I'm at, it could all be earthly gone. All the material things, all those things could be gone in literally a week. I know that. And so I just don't let it get to me, because I know that things can be high, things can be low. And that's just reality. So I don't know. I feel like I've just cycled enough and I've been around enough to know that, like, don't get too high when it's high. Don't get too low when it's low. Just, that's it. And
so cycling for you, and correct me if I misinterpret this, but cycling for you is the tool. It's the tool that you've utilized as your grounding and constant reminder, along with your scripture, to remind you that, you haven't done this.
I haven't done it.
You've been a tool,
right?
For Christ.
Yes, and
in doing this,
and so
it's like gifted.
It's crazy because, okay, you get a business, right? You get a business to over $100,000 a year, which is just phenomenal, right? And then that business goes from 100 to 250. Then you go from 250 to 500. Then it goes from 500 to $1 million. Right? And then you go from $1 million to 500, and you go from 500 to 250, you go from 250 to 0. Wait, it's the same person. The same person that you think did all of it to get, well, how did that happen? How did I do all of it to get there and then come down? You realize that it's not really you. It's not really you anyways. Yes, you're physically the individual or the specimen that's on this earth, but you just start to realize that, like, man, like, the stuff comes, the stuff goes. You've cycled. You've hit the peak, and then you've gone around, you've lost it all, and then you hit the peak again, and that's called a cycle. And I've just cycled enough to know that like it's okay. Like I just don't want to be attached to any of these things. I don't want anybody to put me on any type of pedestal. That's why even when I started the podcast, I started off just saying I'm a servant. I don't want people to identify me as an entrepreneur. I don't want anybody to identify me as a father. I don't want anybody to identify me as a husband, because I can fail at that. My marriage could be over in a month. Okay. My kids today, they love me. They could hate me. Okay. I don't want any identity of any of those things. All I want is the identity of a servant.
So one of the things, and full disclosure, I guess. So one of the things that I love about you is we've continued to grow in our relationship as friends. I'm going to call it out for what it is. You have this opportunity, and you agreed to this conversation and pushing into some of these things. But having done plenty of different interviews and talked to a lot of very successful people, it is a rare treat knowing that, we've talked about it. At the end here, we'll do a little push. We're going to mention your businesses. We're going to get your logo up there and everything else. To knowing that your potential future clients and your current clients may be watching this, and they already know the heart of Greg Todd, because that's how they become clients with you, is through relationships. You've talked about that recently on one of your videos, where It becomes a introduction, then becomes a friendship, and then through the friendship, it may become a business together and a partnership. Mm-hmm. So they know that already, but still willingness to admit or say, hey, this can be cyclical. Hey, I've had these failures. To lay it out there, and have that much transparency and comfortable with not only who you are, but whose you are. Right? That speaks more volumes of you than most of the things that you can tell me about you, right?
Yeah.
It speaks very highly for you.
Well, I appreciate it, but I learned this the hard way because it wasn't always like that. So let me just kind of backtrack to 2016. Okay, so 2016 is when I started this mission called Smart Success for Physical Therapists. It was actually something that my staff at that facility over there encouraged me to start doing. They had worked for me for many years. They wanted to follow through my footsteps. They knew that at some point I was going to transition from the clinics. They're like, like, I want to be in position to take this over or to help you grow this thing. While they were in school, they had friends that were struggling through school, and they were telling their friends about their mentor that they work for, Greg Todd. Okay. And I said, look, let your friends come over here to the clinic and they can watch me and shadow me and I'll help them out. They're like, yeah, but Greg, like, they can't do that. They have regular jobs and they got to do this. I was like, all right, I'll start doing videos. I started doing videos, and then one of my employees, Chantel, she just got the iPhone 8 or something like that, like that iPhone 6 or so, and she started filming me, and we did our first video, and that video went on YouTube, and that video went crazy, and and all this stuff happened. Anyways, so when I started Smart Success PT in 2016, from 2016 to 2020, everybody looked at me as, yes, I was helping people now grow businesses and start businesses, and there's a lot of young people, and everybody looked at me as Greg's like unstoppable. And I had pressure back then to be everything for everyone. And I was scared to, like, I felt like people were buying like the person. Like, this guy is like the number one business guy in healthcare. Like, and I was afraid to share when I was struggling and when things weren't going well. And I felt like if they saw me fail, then it would create such lack of belief for them to succeed. So I'm saying all of this because I've been there, bro. I've been there. And that was a lot of pressure. That was a lot of pressure to always, like, everything has to hit. Nothing can fail because I felt like it's almost like if they see dad fail, it's like, well, if daddy failed, well, then how can I win? I mean, not even daddy can do it, right? And so I was so afraid of that. But now, we ain't got no time for that. Awesome, I am failing all the time. This is it. Look, this is part of the game. This is how it's going to work. And I realized that actually hurt people, because then when they did fail, they thought something was wrong with them. And they're like, oh, well, you can't be like GT. You can't be like Greg. And so I purposely make sure everybody understands these are the highs, these are the lows I'm going through. This is what I'm dealing with right now. If it's marital stuff, I just share it. I just share it. Like, yep, I'm struggling. Like this is where I'm at. Business wise, all crap. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. This whole year of all the transitions I made with shutting down my office, moving to Orlando, doing this, doing that, not having my big live event, I feel as though if you can just share your narrative and just be open, you have a level of freedom, man. You have a level of freedom that's just amazing. And there's going to be some people that are going to be like, I don't want to work with that guy. But there's a lot of people that are like, that's my guy.
Yeah.
That's my guy. So
the honesty
whatever.
and transparency.
Yeah.
But
it feels good. Forget about what it can do for business. It's just freeing.
Yeah.
And I just want to be free, man. I just want to be free. And I don't want to feel like I have to live up to any persona. Like, I don't want to do that. I'm not an actor.
There you
go. That's it.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
So we got to keep going with the deep, hard-hitting questions.
Okay.
So if God would gift you when you woke up tomorrow with one supernatural gift or skill, so let's just say you could speak every language, or I suppose if you're Pentecostal, you can say,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Just kidding. Just kidding. Let's say you can hit every golf shot perfectly, whatever it was. What skill, if he's going to let you have input on it, what skill are you going to pick and why?
What skill? All right, this is going to be just totally random, but I would, if he could give me the skill of what he gave, like Jesus, to be able to cast a net and to catch fish, where like that's the one I'd want. I know it's random, I know, but I love to fish. And I want to be able to have the skill to know where all the fish are. I know this has nothing to do with anything, and I know this is random and this is totally selfish, but that's what I want. Because when I go fishing, I rarely ever catch. And when I go out with professionals, they know exactly where the fish are, and I have the time of my life. So if I could have that unique skill set, I would take it.
Now, if you get that skill set, I'm gonna push into this question now because now I'm fascinated. So God gifts you tomorrow morning with that.
Yeah.
Well, now you're gonna be in pretty high demand. So is Greg Todd, the speaker and the trainer and the mentor, gonna have to move away from that and become Greg Todd the entrepreneur with the fleet of boats that's going out fishing every single day to take people to where, because he has the gift to go where the fish are.
Yeah, listen, man, I'm a Jamaican. I didn't say I had one business. I have 5 businesses. As a Jamaican, I have 5 jobs. I'll take another job, man. Okay, so I will have a 6th job, and I will do that. And maybe what I'll do is I'll have a fleet of, boats, and I will, go one time a week.
There you go.
I go anyways. So see, to me, I just look at it as, I'm going to go fishing anyways. Well, why don't I bring some people along with me? Sure, you can pay me some money as well. No problem. We'll go out. You pay for the gas. And that's it. Actually, I have a fishing buddy when I was living out at Indian Rocks that's how it would work. He used to live where my townhouse was in Indian Shores, and I have the boat. He brings all the bait. He tells me where to go. He plans the whole trip for the week. He's retired, so he can plan the whole trip for the week. And we use my boat, and that's it. So if I start this business, you guys got to pay for the gas. You got to get all the stuff, and then I have the gift that God has given me of where to find a fish, and we all win.
There you go. There you go. Win-win.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. It's good. It's good stuff. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
So, Greg, I want to kind of shift gears just a little bit here into kind of some alignment with some of the things that we talk about very consistently with Warriors for His Glory. So many men today, whether it's cultural and societal, but the different things that push in, they struggle with identity and purpose. And especially when we define success by money, status, and power, which is, let's be fair, that's the cultural norm, right? That determines the who's who. We look at Instagram, and that's all Instagram is.
Right.
So I want to ask you, how do you define true success as a Christian man?
Living out your purpose, deploying your purpose on a daily basis, and giving honor to God when you are basically deploying out your purpose. That's it.
Okay. So following your purpose, but I'm assuming your God-given
purpose. Your God-given purpose. If you can live out your God-given purpose, basically, if you can be in alignment with your current assignment that God has given you, and in that process, you are giving Him the glory, that's success. That's it. By the way, that could be doing electrical work. That could be putting up doors. It could be anything. But if you are giving Him the glory while you're doing your assignment, that's success. There's nothing else.
Awesome. So what do you see as the biggest threat to Christian men today, and how do we fight back against it?
Distraction.
Okay, I like this. I like this.
Distraction. Distraction comes in many forms. Distraction by temptations, distraction by other people, distraction by media, distraction by anything that is taking you off of alignment from your assignment. And so it comes in many different ways. And back in the 80s, we had, probably 6 or 7 different, TV stations, and we had the radio. Okay. Today, that's not the case. Today, you have media everywhere. You have 250 stations on TV, and you have these media channels that we are basically getting inundated with distraction. So these things can be good because it gives us access to people and things that we didn't have access to before. But for 98% of people, it's just a total distraction.
So I got to take you a step back from one of the things you said there, because first I need to know. So is this something that just happened on the fly there, or is this a Gregism? Things that distract us, our alignment from our assignment.
Yeah.
Is that?
I just created that.
Okay. So for the record, the way this works, everyone hears the same thing, so that right there, you just dropped a gold mine right there. Boom. You left it right in the middle of the floor. Okay. And it's yours. We all have the evidence here. So the way this works is that's good enough. That's going to be used in many of my future speaking events. Yeah. The first 3 times you get credit. After that, I claim it as my own.
That's totally fine. I'm sure I probably heard it from someone. I just can't remember. But it is. That's it.
First from Greg Todd.
Just felt good to say it. Yeah.
Greg Todd, dropping truths. Yeah. It's the distraction of your alignment from your assignment. That's gold right there. Don't miss it. Yeah. So, all right. What is one completely ridiculous thing that you're probably embarrassed to admit that you love? And we share a friend in Larry. So we'll give a quick shout out to Larry there. Larry's doing great work. Yeah. Larry McGill is his business, doing tons of stuff with, alarm systems and podcasts and everything else. But Larry filled me in on a little secret. So maybe this is it. Maybe this one you're not too embarrassed of. That you have a secret crush on 90s boys band music, but
yeah. I do. Who doesn't like NSYNC? Who doesn't like Backstreet Boys? Why would that be an issue? Yeah. So I love Britney Spears. I love Christina Aguilera. I love all of it.
What's your ridiculous thing that you're secretly a little bit embarrassed to admit that you just love?
The one thing I'll say is I do love all music. Like I love country music. I love reggae music. I love country music as well. And I'm not embarrassed about it. It's totally cool. I think one thing that maybe a lot of people don't understand is my fascination with roller coasters.
Okay.
Yeah. So what my plan is, I don't ever plan to retire. I've never seen retirement as a thing in the Bible. It's just not a thing. And I don't, so that's not going to happen. But when I do settle down a little bit more, my plan is to go to every single theme park in America.
Okay.
So I don't know if that makes me weird. I'm not embarrassed by it, but that might not be normal for most people. I love theme parks. I love roller coasters. I study them. I go onto YouTube and watch the POV, which is the person that has the glasses on, and I watch the coaster and I study it. I know all the rolls and this and that. That's like my free thing that I like to do.
Have you ever been to Cedar Point up in Ohio?
Yeah. So Cedar Point is that was in 2019. That was my Father's Day gift. I have been studying Cedar Point since I was 8. In the Guinness Book of World Records book, Magnum XL was the Guinness Book of World Records ride back then. And then I think in 2000, I can't remember, it was 2012 or something like that, Millennium Force became it. And I was like, I gotta go to this place. I gotta go to this place. And then I realized I can go to this place, but I always thought that like my family, they're not big into coasters like that. And so this was right after my big live event. 2.5 weeks after it, my wife said, this is going to be your Father's Day gift. And I took a plane from Tampa to Cleveland, Ohio by myself. Ubered from Cleveland to Sandusky, Ohio by myself. It was the greatest 3 days of my life, Todd. I got to go on every single ride at Cedar Point, a minimum of 3 times, and including Steel Vengeance. And it was one of the greatest few days of my life. It was fantastic. So yes, I'm a
So
big
what I
roller
took
coaster
from that is note to self: I will not be attending any events near a theme park with you. Haunted Mansion tends to push my limits a little.
Yeah, I'm not really a Haunted Mansion guy, but man, I love coasters, man. I love roller coasters. So that's my thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So as we're getting towards closing this out, just like closing this out, we have to start. I think that we always need to be considering some of when we close out our life at some point.
Yeah.
So for Greg Todd, when you think about your future and when you think about the work that you're doing and the investment that you're putting into advancing Christ's kingdom, but helping your family and then doing different things, what is the legacy that you want to leave behind?
That I was a servant first, that I did hard things. I wasn't afraid to go against the grain, and I lived my life with intention and with purpose, and I added passion to everything that I did. That's it. If some people can take that with them, like I'll be good. I'll be good.
All right.
Yeah.
So what I want to go into next is we're going to have 5 questions. We're going to do them kind of quick. We're going to call it basically the rapid fire warriors round. Okay. So I know you. I know how you operate. I know you're a warrior at heart anyways. So there shouldn't be any problem. So give me one scripture that's carried you through some tough times.
Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path.
Amazing. One failure that has become your greatest teacher.
Short sailing on that house and having my credit ruined showed me that it really doesn't matter anyway. Awesome. Yeah. Nothing good's going to happen without a little bit of risk.
One habit you can't live without.
One habit I can't live without. Oh, man. Habit I can't live without. Twizzlers. Such a bad habit. But jeez, I love them.
Twizzlers. All right, you caught me off that. I wasn't ready for that one.
Yeah.
All right, one piece of advice that you'd give your 20-year-old self.
Find the thing that you love and just get really, really, really good at it. Because if you tell yourself, what is the average of this field or this don't ask that question anymore. Say, like, how can I be the best in the world at this thing that you actually like? Because if you like the thing, you can become the best at it. But you can't become the best at something that you don't like.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Last one. One prayer that you find yourself praying a lot these days.
I pray for peace. I pray constantly for peace. As an entrepreneur, as a father, as a husband, I am constantly asking the Lord through all of the things that come my way to just give me peace. And the peace is being given to me. And that's me having just a heavier reliance on him. The more I rely on Christ, the more I rely on my God, the more peace I feel. And so that's all I ask for. And the answer is always just trust in me.
Awesome. Man, that's amazing. So such good conversation.
Thank you, man. I've enjoyed it. I love your room. I love the combos. It's been great. It's been awesome.
Man, what a phenomenal time. What a great conversation. So much fun with someone, I've enjoyed first becoming an acquaintance with, starting to become friends with and growing with. And you guys all heard it here first. 3 years from now, Greg's going to let me in on a business with him. So the countdown started. But if you want to know more about Greg and his businesses, please check out smartsuccesshealthcare.com. You'll see it right there on the screen. You can also find Greg on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. At Instagram, go to Greg Todd PT. And this fight we're in, guys, it's real. Every single day, the enemy is swinging at you. He's swinging for your marriage. He's swinging for your family, your faith. He's going after your calling, your purpose that Greg talked about. But here's the good news. We were never meant to fight this alone. You guys know that. I'm telling you right now, I have my brotherhood right here. Greg is now in my brotherhood. We're fighting this all. And at Warriors for His Glory, we exist to equip men just like you to step into your God-given identity, to fight with purpose and to lead with strength. This is more than just trying to survive the battles of life. This is about thriving as the man that God has called you to be. So if today's conversation stirred something in you, if you're sick and tired of feeling sick and tired, if you're tired of being stuck, if you're tired of feeling alone, and you're just ready to step into brotherhood, we want you in this fight with us. So here's your challenge. I'm going to leave you with today. Get connected. Go to warriorsforhisglory.com, join the community. Find something local in your area. Get involved in your local church, whatever that is. 2, find your brothers. Don't do life in isolation. And 3, step into God's word. Gentlemen, let it be your training ground, your playbook, and the strength that you're going to pull from. Remember this, you were created for more. You were designed by the King of Kings to be not just the meek, quiet guy in the corner. You were called and designed to be a warrior, a protector, a leader, the light in this dark world. And when we fight together, we fight stronger. So today, take your step. Don't just listen to the podcast, join the movement. Never forget, you were made for this fight. And as always, until next time, live faith-fueled and battle-ready.
That's a wrap for the Corner Men podcast. Thanks for watching and spending around with us. If this helped you, tap follow, subscribe, drop a quick review, and share it with a brother who needs it. Ready to go deeper? Join the Warriors for His Glory Brotherhood at www.warriorsforhisglory.com. Until next time, live faith-fueled and battle-ready. Now get out there and win the next round.
Fall in the